Hi everybody, happy 2024. I'm Carisa Bunten with 7th Street Gifts. We're a small brick and mortar, family owned and operated apothecary shop in downtown Newport. Established 1999, so we're going into our 25th year of business. And a big thanks to the Friends of the Library and the Lawrenceburg Public Library for having us back and sponsoring another year of flavor. And most importantly, you for checking out your kits, registering for the programs, going home and experimenting and expressing interest in what we have to offer. So this year, we're going to do a different flavor for every month. So it's going to kind of encompass everything from sweet to salty to hot and spicy to savory. And they'll all be herbs, spices, or kind of like kitchen culinary additives that we're somewhat familiar with, but we're going to kind of take them up to the next level and include sample jellies, even of the less common jelly flavors, and recipes in every one. And I'm going to say it at the beginning and then again at the end. On your handouts this year, you're going to have a QR code that'll take us directly to the 7th Street Gifts website. And on there, I'll have about, another page and a half of follow-up information about our flavor of the month. Maybe growing tips, harvesting, more elaborate facts, more elaborate recipes. Also pictures of us making the jelly and the exact ingredients and methods that were used. So it'd be worth your time when you get your handout one day, when you have a little bit of a half hour, 45 minutes. QR code to the 7th Street Gifts website and see what we have to offer, because we're going to pair up with the year of flavor every month, and we'll have a lot of add-on and additional information that I think you'll find interesting. So for the month of January and the first month of 2024, we chose Peppermint. It's a classic. It kind of carries over from the holiday seasons. It pairs up with the temperature outside because it's kind of a cooling or chilly flavor and or scent. So that's certainly the way it is January today. There are other mints mentioned because mint's a pretty broad family, and the good thing about it is that it can be somewhat invasive, so it's easy to grow, especially in areas around here with rock gardens and high clay. And there's a load of new kind of modified species now of different mints where you can get chocolate flavored peppermint, lemon flavored peppermint, things of that nature. They're hybrids, but they're definitely worth mentioning and thinking about when you're experimenting with your mint flavors again on your own or in your garden. Now the peppermint that's in your take-home bag that you'll use for the recipes or just for a nice simple tea is just the classic Mentha piperetta. So that's the species that's in your muslin bag. But again, in the world of mints and spearmints, even catnip is a form of mint. There is a lot of variety, but the one that's in your bag that you're going to use for your recipes is the Mentha piperetta. It is organic, cut and sifted peppermint, and we've already pre-measured it in a drawstring bag. It's about 2 heaping tablespoons, and it's ready to use. So any recipe that you decide to try from your handout, even if it's just the tea, all you have to do is just drop that bag right in and use that exact amount, and you're going to keep the botanical, the peppermint, inside the bag. It's going to act as like a tea strainer of sorts, so you don't have a bunch of plant matter, and your tisane, your end product, is really nice and clear, and it doesn't have like floaties, for lack of a better term, in it. Now, I've done some research, and I'm still learning about this on my own, but what I've come to find out is that a lot of things we use, such as peppermint, can be classified as both an herb and a spice. So generally speaking, herbs are considered fresh. So if you went out to your garden this August and picked a bunch of peppermint and made mint juleps with it, or like a mint iced tea, or used it freshly cut like in a tabbouleh or a salad, that would be considered an herb. And you generally use quite a bit more herb because you need more herb for the flavor, and they're kind of wet and fresh, so the recipes usually hold a higher quantity of a fresh herb. Now a spice is when it's dried, and when dried properly and then stored properly. And even though when you look at it, you might not smell the strength the same as you would with a fresh herb, they generally have a more concentrated, higher flavor, especially when they're reconstituted in hot water or introduced to a recipe. and you use much less of them because they're so much more concentrated. And then most spices in a cool, dark place easily store for up to 2 to 3 years. And if they start to kind of wane and lose their potency, you can generally tell by their color. As the colors begin to fade, just by a general look, like a peppermint would lose its dark green, army green, and start to get like a brown. That would be the time that you would know they were probably starting to lose their potency and flavor. So peppermint, besides its taste that is really palatable, and you think of like a candy cane, a tea, a jelly with like a rich meat, even like a peppermint milkshake, they have a lot. Peppermint itself as a botanical has a lot of benefits. So again, it has a strong and intense flavor. A little goes a long way. It's easy to grow and use fresh as an herb or dry as a spice. And it's also a safe choice that 99.9% of us can consume and enjoy a peppermint tea or flavor without a huge concern of allergies or something unsafe or interacting with medicine or a medical condition. It's enjoyed by most, so most of us enjoy peppermint, even if it's a little strong for a little kid with like an Altoid or the red and white like Starlight mints. They'll usually suck on them for a while and spit them out and then put them back in. So even the strong kind of intense flavor is liked by pretty much all ages and ranges of people. Now to get back to the properties, besides the nice flavor and the intensity of the flavor, there are things that research and long-time use have said that peppermint does, or actually proven, I guess, or represented. So the number one is relief from headaches, especially kind of nervous headaches or sinus headaches. Both the taste of peppermint and the scent give you relief from headaches. Another property is it has antiparasitic qualities. So it makes the tummy and your intestines inhospitable, so less desirable for a parasite to kind of grow and flourish with inside you. And especially the Giardia or Guardia, I can never say it right, but that waterborne parasite that comes in swimming pools a few times a year or like in still water, it's been scientifically proven to not exterminate or eliminate, but to make it very inhospitable and reduce your likelihood of becoming infected with like a high parasitic volume. This is one of my favorite things, and the scent and the flavor, and really something about like the overall color of it too, boosts energy, and it does so without caffeine. So this also makes a really good like end of the day, like if you're going to try to perk up and make dinner or help with homework or something, but you don't want a true tea or a caffeinated drink that will keep you up past bedtime and when you need to be asleep. You can make it iced or hot, but a big strong cup of peppermint tea. And children can enjoy this too because there isn't caffeine. It takes a little bit of sweetener, just a speck of sugar, honey, agave nectar, even like a sweet and low or whatever, really makes it sweet fast. And then to lead into doing this with your kids and sharing a cup of peppermint tea together, it's been proven that it promotes focus and concentration. So in our house, we like to call it like a homework tea. And mixes well with lemongrass too, peppermint and lemongrass, and both of those have been known to promote focus and concentration. But even just the plain peppermint in your kit can make a great homework tea. And again, it's a nice flavor. It takes a little bit of sweetness easy. It gives you a good aroma that will kind of take that end of the day headache off, boost your energy, but without caffeine. Another thing that peppermint does that we're probably most familiar with, and that could be as an herb, in a mint, as extract, a drop, a gum, is it freshens breath and naturally. So another thing you can do with your peppermint tea or peppermint that you grow and harvest on your own, because lots of times you have a plethora of it all at once, is you can use a strong peppermint tea as even a gargle or a mouthwash or rinse. And I'll do mine with a 50% strong tisane, and when I say tea I mean tisane, which is a peppermint plant made as a tea. And then I do the other half with peroxide, like just a 3 or 4%, what you would get at like the General Dollar Store or the Walgreens or whatever. And you do a 50-50 gargle with your peppermint and your peroxide, and it brightens your teeth, it's good for your mouth, and it freshens your breath without alcohol or an artificial peppermint. And sometimes the peppermints that you get mouthwashes are alcohol-based and really strong and almost too much. So this is like a really natural choice for this. It aids in digestion, and that's oftentimes why you get a peppermint at the end of a meal, and you still do at nicer restaurants, or mint would be served as like a garnish next to parsley, even on a dessert plate or on a salad plate. Because peppermint and other mints too, such as spearmint, increase bile production in a healthy manner, and bile helps the body in digestion and break your food down quicker. So it kind of eases that bloatiness and feeling overfull after a heavier, rich meal. There's even some research, and again, there's a little bit more to back all of these up when you do your QR code on our website, but the research data is on that when you do the link, that touts the benefit of reducing the pain of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or just heavy cramping and bloating and gas, because peppermint has a really, really high component of menthol in it, and that's actually where menthol comes from. They're little crystals that form on the underside of peppermints, usually one of the first frosts. They kind of spit out like a resin of sort, and they look like teeny little quartz crystals, stone crystals, and you scrape them off the underside and harvest them, and those are the menthol crystals. So menthol basically is peppermint, but the menthol is a component in it that blocks calcium in the intestines, and it reduces the pain and cramping of IBS and just general bloating and gas. And so also something worth mentioning is menthol crystals are poisonous. So you would use them externally and for aromatherapy, like in a shower balm or in a soap, but you would never ingest them. So if you ever harvest peppermint that have started to have the menthol crystals on them, you would knock those off before you ingested the peppermint. Again, this is what I want you guys to kind of research on your own, especially since we're all getting a good taste of cabin fever and starting to think about the spring season and summer and what we can plant and grow. Virtually all mints are easy to grow, harvest, and dry, almost to an invasive level. So when you choose your mint, you want to be sure that wherever it is you plant it, you don't mind that it can kind of take over. That's why rock gardens and really clayey, kind of inhospitable soils make a good choice. Or if you wanted to do a variety or a porch or like a raised bed or a patio garden, you would just keep your mints in a container, in their pots, and contain their tap roots and runners from spreading. So if you go to the QR code on the website, I have methods for how to harvest, cut, and dry your peppermint and or spearmint. And there's 3 different methods, and they're all really effective. And again, I bet you most of you have this growing in your yard already, or if not, it's an inexpensive, easy one to grab at the nursery for one of your spring plants. And I would encourage you to try to grow it and cut, harvest, and dry it. And it will be just like, if not even better, because it's done by you, what your take-home is. Now this is a spearmint jelly, because I did a lot of research on mint jellies, and generally spearmint is used over peppermint because it's a little bit sweeter. So like the traditional mint jelly that you see with like lamb or really rich proteins and things of that nature, is made with spearmint, and that's also a first cousin to peppermint, and they grow kind of interchangeably as far as ease and invasiveness, and they have those square stems. But this is your sample, and I want you to taste it, use it however you want, and then let Denise and I or both of us or one of us or neither of us how you liked it. And again, I'm going to work really hard to try to put a jelly sample with whatever our flavor is for the month to kind of explore different palettes and kind of more exotic choices and flavors. Now I know mint jelly is a little bit more traditional, but I was pretty happy with how it came out. I've been eating some at home. I had some lamb the other night, and I prepared it on that. And then I tried some, goat cheese and mint jelly, like on a cracker, and that was really good too. So since these are just samples given away for free, and as I kind of make my recipes just right and experiment in the commercial kitchen that I'm working out of, that incubator kitchen collaborative and collective, if you're interested, in Newport. This is what's in your spearmint jelly sample. And again, this is listed on our website with your QR code or just by going to 7thstreetgifts.com. So what's in our little jar is a spearmint tisane, and remember we would just call that spearmint tea, but it's just the spearmint leaf, cut and sifted, certified organic. I used 1 ounce to 3.5 cups of water, and I boiled it for 5 minutes, a rolling boil, and then I let it sit and steep for another 5 minutes. I used the muslin bags that your peppermint's in, so I didn't strain it or do anything like that. I just used those bags, and it kept all the plant matter out perfectly well. After I got my tisane, I added sugar, lemon juice, and brought it back to a boil. Then added my pectin, and at the very end, food coloring, and it's got 11 drops of green food coloring. So that would be the one kind of cheat I did. It was a pretty green, but it was a little bit dark, kind of more like a camo or army green, and I wanted it to be that more traditional mint jelly green that we are used to. So my suggestions for pairing your mint jelly, although you can certainly just use it for a peanut butter and jelly or a recipe, a glaze, anything you want, is traditionally it's paired with lamb or other rich fatty proteins, even venison, and or like cowboy steaks, like really kind of rich, heavy, sort of more fatty proteins or meats. It makes a nice relish or side for it. So in conclusion, for January 2024, the month of peppermint, and your handout's going to contain a lot more, and then remember the website that you can visit. You're going to have, oh, I can smell it from here, your 2 tablespoons of cut and sifted certified organic peppermint. And any of the recipes you use, there's a ton of them. There's schnapps, there's extract, there's peppermint sugar. You would just use this exact amount and follow the recipes to it. So you don't have to take it out or pre-measure it or anything like that. And then you'll have your little sample of your spearmint jelly. I'm going to put this one, your mint jelly is what I'm calling it, in your bag for you to go home and try. So lots of recipes, lots of ideas, and a lot of follow-up and more factoids on our website if you want to learn more and more about peppermint. So thanks again. Come and pick up your kit with your peppermint and your mint jelly, and then we will see you next year, February for elderberry. So we're going to talk about how to make elderberry syrup. It grows pretty easily around here, and then we'll also have an elderberry jelly to try. Thanks a lot and have a good day.